We really see it every day in the face of women across our country. I see, inspired by my mother, who is an entrepreneur and author, looking in the face of my daughter. Of course, I know that America won't succeed unless women succeed. And in this day and age, even though women represent close to half our nation's workforce, on average, they would still receive 70 cents on the dollar for every dollar received by their male counterparts. It's way past time for women to earn equal pay for equal work. And being here today is an important step. This is our second annual Women's Summit. The real work beyond today, of course, continues. But being here today to hear from some leaders in our community is an important part of the formula for success, to lay the groundwork for the next generation of women innovators, entrepreneurs, scientists, and thought leaders. Which means not only promoting policies and how women succeed, but also making sure we're educating and challenging the next generation, providing role models in all fields for young girls to be able to grow up and realize their potential. And in many ways that starts in our schools, which for many of you know that's been a big focus of my life's work. In Congress, I've sponsored the Women's Win Act, which would assist recruiting and training and placing and retaining women in occupations that have traditionally been dominated by men, and require that eligible partnerships include community-based organizations that help organizations serve women in the community. And I've also worked on the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act. Much of that money is directed to the counties for job training and preparation. I'm glad to say that we use a large number of the aspects in the WIN Act to assist women in entering and succeeding in non-traditional jobs. It doesn't start with education and workforce, although that's very important. We also need to build an economic environment that is fully inclusive of women. That means, of course, supporting women in fields like science and research, in STEM, helping our universities to reach equity in all fields. And of course, we should ensure that the laws reflect that science and research across the board are a priority, and that we do it in a way that is fully inclusive in terms of reaching out to women and minorities. Of course, now, as we know, the very funding for much of the science and research is also under attack, and we defend that on behalf of the men and women who work in those fields. It's critical to invest in our technology infrastructure, whether that means expanding affordable high-speed internet or tomorrow's great innovation done through federal grants here at CSU or at CU or at our federal labs here in Colorado. We need policymakers at all levels of government, recognizing the importance, of course, of the startup economy, recognizing the importance of women as entrepreneurs, as engineers, as scientists. For America to succeed, in the 21st century, we need to make sure that everybody is able to contribute. And half our population is women that are still underrepresented in many fast-growing fields like computer science and STEM. And today we're going to hear about how we can do a better job to reach equity in those fields. As the father of a 2-year-old daughter, I know the fight for gender parity is personal for me and our family. And as we continue to have the harmful rhetoric coming from the White House, I know that it's going to be more important than ever before from the grassroots level us to work together to truly ensure that every young girl grows up with the same opportunities as her male counterparts. I'm a proud co-sponsor of the Paycheck Fairness Act that would prohibit wage discrimination based on gender. I'm also a co-sponsor of the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act to make the workplace more supportive for growing families. We are fortunate to have a room full of some of Northern Colorado's women leaders today. And I want to introduce our panelists. First, we have Ashley Colpart. Ashley is the co-founder and CEO of the Food Corner, a virtual food hub that connects food entrepreneurs to commercial kitchen space. She's a dietitian and doctoral candidate. She earned a Master's of Science in Food Policy and Applied Nutrition from the Friedman School of Nutrition Science at Tufts University, and was the Northern Colorado Local Food Cluster Coordinator in her home of Fort Collins. She has a unique system of understanding food and human health in social, economic, and environmental spheres. Let's welcome Ashley. Kristen Gollenhert is the founder and CEO of Wild Rock Public Relations and Marketing. She's a businesswoman who started on the ground floor at Otterbox and was instrumental in rebranding and re-strategizing the brand, helping to build Otterbox into the Northern Colorado success story that it is today. She's really seen time and time again the underutilized and misunderstood strategies in establishing booming businesses. She founded Wild Rock PR Marketing in 2012 to bring her impressive skills from startups to seasoned companies, and among many honors, she's been recognized as the 2013 40 Under 40 honoree and was a finalist for the 2013 Northern Colorado Business Report Women in Distinction. Notable coverage includes USA Today, New York Times, Oprah Magazine, Newsday, and many others. Let's welcome Kristen.
That's what I was looking at.
Our next guest is probably somebody that most of you know or know of, the Honorable Betsy Markey. Betsy is an experienced small business owner and, of course, served the 4th Congressional District in Congress from 2009 to 2011. She co-founded Syscom Services and is also locally known, of course, as the owner of Huckleberry's Coffee Shop in Fort Collins. Her public service career includes work prior to service in Congress for U.S. Senator John Durkin and Congressman Herbert Harris. She was a presidential management fellow in the 1980s. Most recently, she was an assistant secretary for intergovernmental affairs at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and finally served as President Obama's appointee for Region's 8 Small Business Administration Director, in which she got to work with many women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses across the entire Central State region. Let's welcome Betsy Markey. And our final panelist is Dr. Leah Hansen. Leah is the owner and founder of Left Lane Communications. She has a PhD in organizational performance and a decade of experience in supervising teams. She's graduated the Fort Collins Area Chambers of Commerce Leadership Fort Collins program, and we're excited to welcome Dr. Leah Hansen to the stage. In kicking it off, I think you've all prepared some initial remarks, but I wanted to toss a few questions out your way as well. In terms of the focus here, we want to talk about what is the biggest obstacle for women entrepreneurs that they face that male counterparts don't, and what piece of advice do you wish women business leaders told you when you were first starting any of your businesses, if you had multiple lines or your business? But I want to point out, so these, if you haven't noticed, this panel, of course, every one of our women up here are entrepreneurs. The next panel is about STEM and STEM education. And then the final one is about why this all matters, and kind of bringing that together. For any of you, what ideas do you have about how we can advance women entrepreneurs as a society? Either federal law, state law, local policy, what universities can do. What can our community do at any level to advance women in entrepreneurship? During entrepreneurship and leadership positions, when did each of you, what was the story? How did you realize, hey, I can become an entrepreneur, I'm going to become an entrepreneur? That's the first part. When did it dawn on you? How was it conveyed to you? How were you inspired? And then secondly, how can more women of all ages, and particularly young women, be inspired and shown that this is a path they can take to be an entrepreneur, to start their own entity, whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit. What do you think we can do better to inspire the next generation? So we've talked a bit about what society can do, what you can do, what women can do. Let's talk about men for a minute. I'm glad to say we have a few men in the audience as well. There's others that are probably watching on Facebook. What can men do to empower women entrepreneurs, both personally as fathers, husbands, friends, and also professionally as colleagues or co-workers or investors? What would you like to see men do better to empower women entrepreneurs and leaders? Before we go to the next panel, I want to give everybody one more chance, and particularly if you have any advice, we have a lot of women here that perhaps are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, are entrepreneurs. Any advice that doesn't have to be gender specific, just about being an entrepreneur. I mean, there's a lot that men and women have to do when they take that leap. I want to give you each a chance to have any general advice about entrepreneurship or anything that you've learned from your experiences that you feel our audience might benefit from. Maybe a high-level programmer. Our next panel will be talking about women in STEM.